Ah, man, after all the good stuff we had to say in yesterday's Cole Caufield update video, this video right here, even though quite literally what happened on the score sheet is the same as the last video yesterday, spoiler alert, Cole Caufield on yesterday's second game against the Michigan Wolverines in a back-to-back, he got an assist, so he's still at a point per game. But, my gosh, am I the most frustrated today than I've ever been watching the Cole Caufield Wisconsin Badgers hockey team play their hockey games. Because yesterday's Wisconsin versus Michigan game was tight. The two best players on the ice were hands down the goaltenders on either side for the Badgers and for the Wolverines. Big shout-outs over to Straussman for the Michigan Wolverines and Robbie Beydoun for the Wisconsin Badgers. These guys were absolutely incredible as the Badgers ended up losing 2-1 in overtime. The first goal of the game was scored by Roman Ashan, who ended up taking it on the power play. This was a Cole Caufield secondary assist, where he had the puck on the left side, sent it from blue line to blue line, from the left to the right over to Tarek Baker, who then took the puck in towards the zone, threw it cross crease, and then Ashan was there to score. 1-0 Wisconsin Badgers from that point onwards, and that was the last Wisconsin Badgers goal of the game. From then, the Michigan Wolverines scored another one in the second period, and then another one in overtime. We'll get to that a little bit later, but this was frustrating because Cole Caufield came out here in this game where both of the goalies were standing tall, and Caufield was honestly, in my opinion, the best forward out there on the ice. This guy, watching the game, was absolutely dazzling. There were so many opportunities where he was trying to set guys up, but either they were not really able to take the pass, or they were just out of position and they weren't giving themselves the opportunity to open themselves up for a scoring chance. Cole Caufield was out here playing a huge role for the Wisconsin Badgers in this one, and they don't track time on ice over here on the Badgers website, but just from watching the third period, watching the overtime, Cole Caufield was out there so much, and when he didn't have the puck on his stick, he was either back-checking, breaking up defensive plays, or finding some open space out in the offensive zone. This guy was so smart, just a very effective hockey player. However, nothing went in. Until the very end of the game, where with a few questionable power plays, the Wisconsin Badgers ended up throwing it towards the goal. It deflected behind the goal line where Caufield was there, he threw it towards the net, and then the goaltender with the puck underneath his pad ended up getting pushed into the net by the Wisconsin Badger out in front. But even though the Badgers were celebrating, even though Caufield looked like he had scored his first NCAA goal of the season, yeah, the video review doesn't actually show the puck crossing anywhere, even though, if you take a look at it, well, the goalie is on top of the puck, and the goalie was fully in over the line, so you could just by virtue assume that the puck was in, but because there was no concrete, conclusive video evidence with the puck in the frame visibly crossing the line itself, there was no goal, and then the game went to overtime. Caufield was nice in overtime. He did a few nifty little dangles over there, had some good scoring chances. We saw Cole Caufield several times in this game head over to the bench and slam his stick over into the boards in frustration. That happened like 2 or 3 times in a row, and then I think in overtime it happened as well. Or if it was not overtime, it might have been the end of the third period, because he had a few scoring chances there as well. And then in overtime, Caufield was at the tail end of a really long shift. He was out there going back and forth, offensive zone play, defensive zone play, where eventually he's at the very tail end. He's tired. You can tell the guy is not really skating as hard as he was earlier in the shift. He'd been out there for, I think it was like 30 seconds to 45 seconds, maybe even a minute, not sure. And San Jose Sharks prospect Thomas Bordeleau came in, did a nice fancy toe drag, sent it over onto the backhand, faked going back to the forehand, and then he just absolutely buried it. That was the overtime goal. It was a very Datsukian kind of goal, you know? I say Datsuki and you kind of know what I'm talking about here. There's a vision in your head that pops up there when I say Datsukian, and that's exactly what Thomas Bordeleau did. And Cole Caufield and the Wisconsin Badgers ended up losing. Both of the goaltenders were really good, but in my opinion, it was Cole Caufield who was a super effective player, especially from the third period onwards into overtime the entire time he was out there. This guy was determined. This guy was frustrated. This guy was banging his stick on the boards. We know how much he wants to score a goal, and he almost had the opportunities here. 3 shots on goal in this game in particular. And we noted this in the yesterday video as well, but Cole Caufield was leading the Habs by far in terms of shots. And this guy, we all kind of know that Cole Caufield has his own ability to shoot the puck. And man, this guy was absolutely laying it on there. The goalie was making some saves. There were some opportunities on the power play especially where Cole Caufield was just thinking about the pass. He was trying to set up guys in front. He was a playmaker in this recent game, and I was really taken aback just by how much this guy contributed to the offensive shot attempts and the high medium danger scoring chances column for the Wisconsin Badgers, because man, this guy did that in this game. It just sucks, man. It really does suck. And I guess, you know, you're going to have to live with it. Sometimes you're going to go through a few slumps. At the end of the day, it's still only been 4 games, and Caufield is at a point per game in all of them. 4 assists, 4 games. You love to see it. Still with 0 goals, which is definitely not ideal, but still, even though he is in somewhat of a slump, he can't get the monkey off of his back, he is still a point per game. Like, we said this yesterday, but it still does reign true. It is just frustrating to see, though, that all the hard work that Caufield was putting out there were some opportunities. I think towards the end of the third period, the Badgers were coming off of a really hot power play, and Caufield took the puck in the neutral zone with some speed, and then as he broke into the zone, it was offside. And I think that's kind of where you saw Caufield look to the heavens a little bit, kind of praying to the hockey gods for some mercy here. Man, this guy was trying his butt off to an extent that I hadn't really seen before. You could definitely tell he was one of the better players on the ice every game so far for the Badgers, but in this game against the Michigan Wolverines, you could just tell there was another gear, especially towards the end, when the game is tied 1-1 and you just ended up losing a power play because you didn't score on it, and you get another power play with an even more questionable call. Honestly, though, just from an objective point of view, I was kind of cheering for both teams because I am a fan of the Wolverines. They do have some guys that I really like. Obviously, Matty Beniers is over there. That guy's amazing. You have Owen Power, whom I'm a big fan of. You had Quinn Hughes there before, so obviously the alumni stuff goes on and it reigns true. Jacob Truscott, Vancouver Canucks prospect, is on that Michigan Wolverines team, but I was just kind of cheering every time Caufield touched the puck and he sent it towards the goal, or he had a nice little pass attempt, because this guy was just so electric, and there were so many opportunities that should have gone in. But nah, it didn't. So I guess this is kind of funny because it's really similar to what Kotkaniemi was experiencing earlier in his season in the Liga. We saw how he was in a position where he was setting up his teammates, giving them silver platters with golden gifts on them, and then just to have them tap it wide and miss the net entirely. It was terrible to see, definitely unlucky, but man, Caufield, even though he's already broken that assist barrier, he still has to get himself that goal. The monkey off the back. I think I share the same sentiment with everybody else. Once Caufield gets that first goal, the NCAA better look out, man, because this is a man on a mission right here. And to those saying, okay, well, it's only been 4 games. Yeah, we're a third through the season already. There are 12 games being played here in this NCAA season thus far, and we have 4 games done. There are only 8 games left. So talk to me in the comments what you think about Cole Caufield. Did you watch yesterday's Wisconsin Badgers Michigan Wolverines game? If so, tell me what you thought about it in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Trolls 99. And bye.